So we head to our penultimate race of the weekend here for round 2 of the 2021 Rotax Max Euro Trophy. DD2 now up into their second final. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Peter Bezel and Philip Moitzi will start on the front row of the grid with Bezel on pole position. Sander Schublak and the Flying Finn, Ville Villainen round out the top 2 rows ahead of Ragnar Virus and Sebastian Janchevski. Michael Rossina and Tim Mika-Metz, they complete the top 4 rows ahead of Sweden's Hannes Morin and 2019 DD2 champion Jakob Bezel, rounding out the top 10. Daniel Mahmacek and Matthias Lund round out the top 6 rows ahead of Lucas Hosman, Davide Fore, Yanni Gussens, Marcel Heisenberger, Martina Stankiewicz, Cosimo Francisco Durante, Mario Saban and Rasmus Vanderbo, rounding out the top 20. Robert Chopien, Mark Bartels, Long Seifried, Marta Bussola, Manuel Tenschert, Florian Breitenbach, Matis Malinovskis, Zenderua, Leo Kirschenbauer, Gregorio Bertocco, Mick Knowlton, Alessandro Farda, Martin van Leuven, and Florian Weidenbach, Paolo Besonsone, and Luca Muneretto round out the 36 strong. 14 minutes plus an additional lap. We had we had multiple incidents in the first final today, and in many respects that is going to be a very, very difficult hurdle to get over. And the main reason why I say that is the fact that these drivers will have a lot going for today. And when you look at who is leading the standings, Matthias Lund could find his series lead under threat and maybe overtaken later on after everything has been decided. But we have one more race after this one to see what will happen. So it looks like Martin van Leuven hasn't driven out of the pits, but they have they let them go? That's the key point. So the timer has started ticking away as they go through into turns 1 and 2. Now it looks like someone is driving out of the pit lane, so there are a couple of karts that are at the tail end, Charlie, of the field. Oh, that was a little bit wide. I think that was Yannick Gussens going out of turn 4 very, very wide indeed, as it's everyone squabbling over the same piece of tarmac. And multiple karts into one never really go. But at the moment, we'll see who is going to be leading after the conclusion of lap number 1, because there is an absolute cavalcade of colour, and it looks like Mark Bartels is actually one of the drivers that came out of the pre-grid a little bit later than everybody else. So they come across the line. Looks like Philip Moitzi is leading the way ahead of Martin van Leuven in second position. Ville Villainen, Peter Bezel, Ragnar Virus, and now Hannes Morin it looks like Ragnar Virus, Hannes Morin rounding out the top 6. Sebastian Janchevski ahead of Germany's Tim Mika-Metz, Michael Rossina rounding out the top 9. So just a little bit of an apology, reference the timing on the top left of your screens on the stream at home. The live timing is currently functioning. Zenderu is already up into 16th position, and he's way down the order, around about 28th when we got started. So as always, the Slovenian running, representing Slovenia. He is originally of Belgian origin. Just before the race weekend at Genk, he got engaged to his wonderful fiancée Sarah, who now we have got several drivers that have actually. Now that is rather interesting. So we've had nose on a strip. There's another kart going in as well. So we've had, according to this, now I see that Martin van Leuven is in second position. I just want to try and confirm that on camera, because you can see now that you've got so Martin van Leuven is showing up twice on the timing screens, and that is Zana Shrivlak in second position, if I'm very much mistaken. That looks to be the case, because for some reason seems to be a little bit of an issue with the timing. But as I see it, Philip Moitzi is in first position. Peter Bezel has just got past Zana Shrivlak. Ville Villainen rounding out the top 4 positions, and that is Ragnar Virus in 5th place. So Martin van Leuven didn't actually make it out there, and according to this, I'm seeing that Daniel Mahacek and Manuel Tenschert didn't make it out onto the grid. And there is Shriblack, so he is there out on the circuit and battling away for third place with Vililainen. So just under 11 minutes remaining on the clock. Still to go here in Adria for DD2. We'll have DD2 Masters that will bring things to a close. But after that, we will then have our podium celebration at around about 16:45 later on today, after the racing has concluded. So results have come in for the first three classes. So Micro, Mini and Junior have already had their weekend results tabulated. Looks like Michael Rossina is also pulled into the pit. So I think a lot of drivers, or a few drivers, have ended up. So this is, we'll go by what's on the line of sight. So there is Zana Shriblack. He is out there on the circuit, driving in third position behind Peder Bezel, with Philip Moitzi leading the way. So it looks like Davide Fore has also called it a day as well. So Martin van Leuven is not on the grid, so he didn't make it out. So he is out of the race along with Daniel Mahacek and Manuel Tenchert. As there you can see an absolute gaggle. There's a few carts in there, one of which is a Maranello chassis, and that will belong to a Nice Racing driver. So Zana Shriblack is back on the timing screens, and now Peder Bezel closing on Philip Moitzi for the lead of this race. Now, let's not forget that Philip Moitzi, if he wins this race on count back, will win the weekend events ahead of Peder Bezel for what has been a rather consistent performance from the Austrian with KRT Racing this weekend. Put it on pole position in qualifying and managed to get himself at the sharp end of the grid, ready for today. So the drivers are battling away. There's Mick Knowlton. He's battling away with one of the KSB carts. Looks to be Leo Kirschenbauer just up ahead. And Luca Minoretto's made some inroads. So we now have a battle for third, fourth and fifth position, as now Peder Bezel closing in on Philip Moitzi. However, keep your eyes on Zana Shriblack. And then Ragnar Verus, who's got past Viliainen. Jakob Bezel has made his way past Matthias Lund, who was the points leader coming into this race weekend. And that might change after this one. But you can see now that Philip Moitzi leads the way with 8 minutes and 10 seconds still remaining on the clock. And Peder Bezel still in second. Virus fourth behind Shriblack. Viliainen. Janchevsky rounds out the top six ahead of Timmy Kemets. Hannes Morin has dropped outside of the top 10 behind Matthias Lund, Jakob Bezel and Cosimo Francesco Durante. And Durante was actually in the second chance heat and finished second to Mick Knowlton. But the Italian has had more moves up the order in the past two races than what Mick Knowlton has done. And Mick Knowlton's down all the way down in 29th. Paolo Bisonsene up into 23rd. Just keeping an eye on where Luca Minoretto is. And Minoretto is on the verge. Well, about 8.5 tenths of a second behind, as there is Zana Shriblack pressurising Philip Moitzi, who now is in second. And that's not where he would like to be, because he'd rather be at the front of the field. But Peder Bezel has had other ideas. And here comes Ragnar Virus on the back bumper of Zana Shriblack. Looked up the inside of the Belgian, did the Estonian through turn one, but thought better of it. Halfway down, halfway to go. 7 minutes plus an additional lap still remaining. And any one of the drivers now in the top six, which now includes Poland's Sebastian Janchevsky, can go for the victory. And it's just dependent on how quick drivers make the respective moves at the right place on the circuit itself. So there's been a tussle and out of it, exiting stage left. Don't tell me that's Philip Moitzi. Moitzi's had a bit of a howler there. He was Now, I'm not too sure what happened. There was a bit of contact. People were going for positions. Not too sure if there might have been a slight incident between him and Zana Shriblack, because that has now changed everything. Ragnar Virus now has second. So it looks like Zana Shriblack might have been, well, I mean, the thing is, I'm going to leave this to race control and the stewards, because they're the ones that make the decision. Was there a bit of an incident between Zander Schiblak and Philip Moitzi, who has stumbled all the way down the order, and his great run of form here at Adria has come to a grinding halt. Michael Rossina has retired from the race. Davide Fori, Daniel Mahacek, and Manuel Tencha also have done so. Martin van Leuven is still racing, and he's currently 24th, so we might have had a couple of transponder glitches that caused the slight problems. But you see there that Sebastian Janchevsky, as now Philip Moitzi has parked it. Oh, that's a shame. I was really hoping for a good result for the Austrian, but it's just been thrown under the bridge like water, and the Austrian has quite clearly been swept aside. 5 minutes plus an additional lap still to go, and there's the move from Janchevsky up the inside of Schiblak, and that is for 4th position. And here comes Tim Mika-Metz of all people. So Tim Mika-Metz up into P6 for Dor Motorsport, and now looking to factor in to the top 5. That would be a great result for the driver on the Kart Republic chassis, but not too far behind is the 2019 champion Jakob Bezel. Zander Schiblak, the reigning and defending champion, now in 5th place, and is being caught by Tim Mika-Metz, and they're both on the same type of chassis. So it's SP Motorsport versus Dor Motorsport on this particular occasion. But Peter Bezel is on the verge of winning the weekend result by a comfortable margin. It was a non-starter for Daniel Mahacek and Manuel Tencha, so they decided to call it a day. Philip Moitzi becomes a 3rd retirement in this race. Oh, what could have been for the Austrian. It's the woulda, coulda, shoulda situation. Luca Mureretto makes his way up to 19th behind Matis Malinovskis. Robert Shopier's got himself into the top 15 now, and that means you score points. Zendarua has been charging through the field rather silently and has got on with the job at hand, running representing Slovenia on the Intrepid chassis, as Cosimo Francesco Durante gets up to 9th place ahead of Matthias Lund. And now Robert Chopin passes Denmark's Rasmus van der Boeg for 14th. But we've got this great battle here, and this is the battle for 5th position. It's Schiblak versus Mika-Metz versus Jakob Bezel. Hannes Morin is a little bit further adrift from this, about 1.3 seconds is the Swede. But it is stalemate at the moment between this trio, as Sebastian Janchevsky now over 4/10 up the road, and there goes Jakob Bezel up the inside of Tim Mika-Metz, but the German swipes back at him like a good one. Oh my goodness me. Jakob Bezel gets a little bit schooled there by Tim Mika-Metz coming out of the hairpin. So Bezel went for the move, and Tim Mika-Metz went, oh no you don't, and now the boot's on the other foot, sunshine, I'm afraid, because Tim Mika-Metz has just been passed rather quickly and expediently by Jakob Bezel, and there is Hannes Morin. Leo Kirschenbauer, Mick Knowlton and Florian Breitenbach now are 26th, 25th and 24th respectively. And that is Laurent Seyfried was in 17th position, but then he sends it up the inside of Matis Malinovskis. Now who was that went off the track? Was that Rasmus van der Boeg? That looks to be the case. And that was going through into the right-hander at turn number 7. But then there's a bit of a battle here. That is Paulo Besonsone. And that could very well be, just keeping an eye on who that was, that is Matthias Lund. Matthias Lund has just fallen into the clutches of Paulo Besonsone. That's promoted the likes of Mario Saban, Zendarua now up into 11th, Martina Stankiewicz, Robert Chopin, Marcel Heisenberger, Rasmus van der Boeg now finds himself in 15th position, as there's 3 Maranello kart chassis right there. So you've got Oliver Breitenbach, Lucas Horstmann, Martin van Leuven. You've also got Mick Knowlton in there, and that is Matthias Lund out of the race. The front bumper absolutely stoved in. The Dane loses his lead in the standings. That is disaster for the Dane. A real shame It's not been the easiest of weekends for Matthias Lund, and that has just well, they do say that a picture paints 1,000 words. Well, that picture has just seen the title lead, or the standings lead, for Matthias Lund in this championship fall by the wayside. So that means he becomes another retirement. Our fourth of this race. The points leader before Heats Day got underway was Matthias Lund, and now his season has been dealt a swift blow. Whether that's the killer blow is anyone's opportunity, because we go to a new circuit at Mulsanne between the 16th and the 18th of July for round 3 of the season. 22 seconds on the clock remain, and Peder Bessel is being closed in on by Ragnar Virus, and Ragnar Virus is pretty much with Peder Bessel. And that now showcases as now Peder Bessel looks to his right and sees the 408 of Matthias Lund looking dead at him. And now Peder Bessel has an opportunity. And in terms of the championship standings, I'm just going to have a quick look just to see what is happening on that particular side of things in terms of the championship. So Matthias Lund, coming into this round, was leading Peder Bessel by 5 points. That now means that Peder Bessel will get a comfortable lead, and he'll score the maximum of 50 points unless Ragnar Virus has anything to say about it. And this has changed the dynamic of the championship after what's been a dramatic and action-packed second round. We're on the final lap for DD2, and Peder Bessel, despite the best efforts of the likes of Philip Moitzi, who retired on lap number 8 after that incident earlier on, Matthias Lund, a spectator now watching the karts drive on by, is out of this race. And this will change things dynamically for round 3 at Mulsanne. But out of the final corner, the Czech Republic's Peder Bessel does the double here in Adria. Ragnar Virus and Ville Villainen round out the top 3. Sebastian Janchevski takes 4th place ahead of Zander Schriblak. Jakob Bessel, who will probably, more than by my reckoning, maybe end up in 2nd. So it could be a Bessel Brothers 1-2. In the championship standings, takes 6th ahead of Tim Mikamets. Good showing by Hannes Morin. Another solid set of finishes from the Swede, who took an 8th place finish back at Genk, or 9th place finish back at Genk earlier on this season. Cosimo Francesco Durante put some points on the board. Mario Saban, Zendrua, Martina Stankiewicz, Robert Chopian, and Marcel Reisenberger, with Rasmus Vendelbo rounding out the top 15. Lawrence Seyfried, just a few seconds off of, just over 1.1 seconds off of the top 15, finishes 16th ahead of Matis Malinovskis, Luca Muraretto, Paolo Besonsene, Oliver Breitenbach, Lukas Horstmann, Florian Breitenbach, Mick Knowlton, Martin van Leuven, Leo Kirschenbauer, Gregorio Bertocco, Jan Nigussens, Alessandro Fardin, Marta Bussola, Mark Bartels being the last of the 30 drivers that finished, with retirements from Matthias Lund, Philip Moitzi, Michael Rossina and David De Forêt, with Daniel Mahacek and Manuel Tenschert non-starters.